Hello, this is Zeke777, and welcome to episode 21 of Arcane Revolution. We've got a lot to build, and as per usual, let's just dig in. We've got a city here that we're working on, and there's a whole lot of empty spaces. So I've got an empty space right there, one right here, one here that I might be able to use, and I've been kind of slowly getting rid of my farming area over here next to the warehouse, filling it with dirt, and I'm thinking we might be able to put some stuff in here. Now, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, we need some autocrafting. I'm not sure if I want that to be part of the commercial district or if I want that to be more part of the kind of storage area district, because we've got a whole island over here. If we fly way up here, turn around, we can take a look at it. This whole area here is basically not used for anything. We've got a whole lot of wasted space. There's a church, which really isn't going to be much different than the current footprint that it already is. But this area here, like there's the sand here, there's this area over here, and I need to figure out how I want to actually make use of that. Farming district there is fine, there's going to be lots of stuff there, but over here, this is just kind of wasted. We did have our tree farm here. Yep. Had our tree farm here for a little bit, but I've kind of upgraded to a much larger area over there. So, like I said, I got to figure out if I want my crafting over here or in commercial district. Our city has also been growing in population. We have a few, shall we say, city elders. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I need a city hall at some point. So that's going to be kind of where my bed is, where just kind of general, probably my main to-do list will be there. And I'm thinking I will have a city hall room. And basically I'm just going around, whenever I see a wizard tower, I just kind of, shall we say, acquire him and put him in here. And I'm thinking that they would be a good kind of a city council, so to speak. It also, these guys work basically like regular villagers do, only they trade in things for Electroblob's wizardry. So it's kind of nice because that basically makes the magic crystals renewable. Whenever I get a spellbook, you can just sell it back to them. And you can also get things like Tome of Arcana to upgrade wands. I think one of these guys, yeah, you've got a duration upgrade, which is kind of nice. Various wands themselves. One of them I think might have... What I'd love to find is the legendary upgrade, which upgrades the armor. Not that I'm actually using that armor anymore, but since I'm going to be collecting each of the different armor sets, I'd like to upgrade them all the way. So I need to find out... Okay, I guess I don't have one. We've got a few of those little armor upgrade things. The legendary Arcane Seal of Protection. Upgrade any wizard armor to make it legendary. So these guys, I basically need one for every single piece of armor. And I want to say it's 9 different elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 8 if you count the regular armor. So 8 different elements, I should say. So yeah, I need a whole lot of these things, since this is only enough to make 3 sets. Yeah, so I need a bunch of these. Whenever I find them, I just store them. But I'd like to find out... I'm not even sure if these guys will be able to sell me that. I know these ones can't. They're already maxed out. They have a maximum number of sales they can do, so can't get it from them, but I'm going to keep them around anyway. So I think I'm going to put it in the commercial district, because my whole plan for this area was autocrafting anyway, so we'll figure out something else for over there. Maybe I'll put the city hall or something over there. But over here, we have somewhere between 2 and 4 plots of land. So one over here, stay where that's grass. I'll tear out this, I'll move this probably up there. Over here, I haven't decided if this can be a plot of land, like for a building, or maybe it's like a small little cafe type thing, just pure decoration. Over here, this area here is definitely big enough for one, and over here. Now, this looks like it's just a hill, but if we actually go down, we've got quite a lot if we build up the riverbank here, which I think is what I'm going to do. That'll at least build out, well, kind of just from a straight line like here, all the way over. I think that is probably about how much room we're going to have. And I think that'll be usable as well. I might have that be just a single building here that's just really long for maybe general purpose autocrafting. But I think what we're going to do is right here, where the astral sorcery stuff is, we're going to tear that out, and I think this is going to be our redstone shop. Now my plan is to have it be basically just regular autocrafting, but for vanilla things, so repeaters, hoppers, comparators, redstone torches, all the various redstone things I need in order to build the rest of my automation. Because honestly, those are the main things I need, and it's kind of tedious to make those. One thing is I'm also running a little low on redstone over there. I think I'm down to only like a dozen or so blocks of redstone, which honestly isn't that much. And we're going to use a lot of it throughout this whole base. So we need to figure out how we're going to automate that as well. But for now, let's get a kind of outline for a building. I'm going to guess breaking that was probably not a good idea. Apparently, my sand is full, so we need to go upgrade our sand storage over here. I hope I don't have a thing that'll pick up a magnet on the way. Maybe not. Alright, so let's go over here and upgrade sand, because that is a whole lot of sand that's following me. I think 128 stacks is what it said. So let's see, if I upgrade you, I'd rather have gotten the emerald storage, but what can you do? So let's just fill this. There we go. Oh, not too bad. 128 stacks of sandstone, which is enough to store that. Except for you. Okay. So we're going to tear that out, and we're going to build an outline. Alright, so step one, break this. I just threw all the liquids in it over here, so that's going to work. We've got a chest here for extra whatevers, and an inventory full of stuff. So, what we're going to do. My plan is, these buildings here are both basically the same height. In fact, that reminds me, I saw things spawning up here. I thought that this whole area is supposed to be not spawnable, but apparently it is, so that's fine. One light there, one light there. Okay. Don't want things spawning on me. So, let's jump back down here. Like I said, these are both two-story buildings, and I'm thinking I'm going to have most of this be kind of embedded in the ground. So it's going to be a low building. I want height variation in here. I want some tall buildings, some short buildings, maybe some really tall buildings at some point. But for now, let's start with a short building. So let's get a bit of cobble, but not regular cobble. We're going to get cobble bricks. These ones here. These are, I think, my favorite blocks so far that I found. They go really nice with the regular stone bricks. So what I've done through here is I've kind of alternated between regular stone bricks from smooth stone, the cobble stone bricks, and these ones up here, which are weathered. Is that the regular? We got some weathered bricks in here as well. It kind of makes it look, it breaks the monotony, so it's not just a solid line of the same thing. Just makes it a little bit more visually interesting, I think. But for now, we're going to start with one thing, and then I come back later and fill in the rest. So, an outline. Let's figure out how big we want this. I can fill this in here, so I've got a little pathway down here, and I want to keep that. I want it to be a nice little boardwalk. In fact, I might lower this down a few blocks. Whatever. So, let's go. I don't want it to be too close, or do I? I think right here should be good. So, I don't really have a plan for what the building's going to look like, which is kind of the theme of this season, actually. Maybe something like that. I want something interesting. I don't want it to go too far this direction, though. We'll just cap it like that. I do want a kind of narrow alley here. This isn't a place where people would normally be walking, but I guess you could walk to get to the boardwalk area here. I think that'll work, actually. We will break that back. And let's just kind of make a square. And let's go. I like going a little bit back from the edge. I don't want it to be directly in line, or like directly lined up with it. I want a little bit of grass in here, because I can put like plants or something in there. And I think this might be good. I want it to be big enough that I can actually, put things in here. I think that might work. Now I need to actually figure out what am I going to do. Now last season I had crafty crates. Those were my main method of crafting things, and then I had just kind of towers of hoppers and dispensers, or droppers I think it was. That's one option. Another option is I can have rows of hoppers that go into a crafty crate. So it'd be like a row along here, row there, kind of like that. That would work. I also have other crafting automation options here. So let me take a look at those and make a little list. Alrighty, so I've probably missed a couple, but what I've got so far is Botania has crafty crates. That's what I used before. Now the thing with that is you have to insert the items in the specific order, as well as have a pattern set up based off of that order. So a little bit of automation there. Thaumcraft, there's the Arcane Pattern Crafter, which is you put an inventory above it, and it searches the inventory above it for the resources, and then it'll output to the bottom, and that can be controlled on or off based off of a redstone signal to the Arcane Pattern Crafter itself. So that one's actually, the automation that is pretty easy when you think about it. It's basically just keep the thing top part stocked, and then it'll just output as you need it. Immersive Engineering Assemblers, which are pretty cool. I really like them. They are a little big, and they also require power and steel. Is going to be the bigger issue, I think, on that one. And Ancient Warfare has autocrafting. It's the Autocrafting Station, if I recall. Now, that one would, of course, require the Ancient Warfare guys to be around, which is a little iffy sometimes. Entities in the world tend to get killed off or just stop working if you're too far away. So, of these, the problem with the Arcane Pattern Crafter, which is I think what I might go with here since it is a very small area that I'm working in, the problem is those eat up the V in the trunk. So if we get our little thermometer here, we have 179. And basically it'd just be a constant drain. Are you not scanned? Learn something new. Cool. It'd be just a constant drain on the V in the area. But I do need to I need to spruce up the area, so to speak. I've been wanting to put a bunch of the silverwood trees around. Those supposedly, if they are naturally grown, which I'm taking to mean no bone meal, just plant it and wait for it to grow, those are supposed to increase the V generation rate. So I think what I'd do is I'd plant a bunch over here, some over here as well. I can't squeeze them between the buildings, but I can artificially grow them, chop them down, and then place it. That, I believe, won't help the V generation rate, but it'll at least kind of tie everything together by keeping the same type of tree everywhere. So it's same coloring and all that. So, that being said, Arcane Pattern Crafters, what do those take to make? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go to Thumbcraft. You are Arcane Pattern Crafter down here. So, these luckily are just regular arcane crafting, so no infusion. Simple arcane mechanisms, which are to say brass. And that's about it. Great wood, that's easy to come by. Crafting V resonator, that is iron and nether quartz, so that's cheap. I think this might be our option. So let me craft up, I guess a dozen of these or so should be good. It'll at least give me things I need for making more of these later. And before I get too carried away on actually crafting those, let's figure out what this is actually going to look like. Now, I think what I would do is I'll have them go to probably a hopper underneath them, which will go to a conveyor belt, just because conveyor belts are cool. And I think I need to come up with a layout here. So they'll need redstone, so let's clear out our inventory just a little bit. I don't need quite as many crafting and building materials at the moment. So let's go with, we're going to pretend cobblestone is the crafter, smooth stone is our hopper, and chests are chests. Okay, so if we space it like this, how many can I fit in here? If I do something like this and bump it back a little bit. So that is an option. I might have to play around with this a little bit. In fact, it's probably better to place them this direction instead. Just like this, 1, 2, 3. So we'll have a row of crafters, and I think that would give me a crystal cube here, crystal cube, comparator, all the way through, which is just going to be directly powering the crafter itself, which is this guy on top. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives me 7 items, so I need to figure out the 7 items that I want. I think that'll work. And then we'll just have, I'm actually going to probably bump it up by 1, so I can have the conveyor belt underneath it. Actually, no, conveyor belt will just go in front. Conveyor belt go in the front, which will go to a central, probably here. That'll be our main output chest. So as you walk in, which will be, let's just say right here. Go back, thank you. And you as well can go under there. So as you walk in, it's just going to be a row of crafters, just working away. I think that'll work. Now, with the area back here, what I can do is I can have my main ender chest, which will be just my redstone crafting ender chest. So it's going to be filled with just redstone parts, stone, quartz, that sort of thing, as well as the outputs of most of these actually. So that's going to be a redstone box. And actually that's going to be really useful. From there I can set up my filters to keep the top chest here, which will be right here. Right here. And one, and last one right there. So basically I'll just keep these guys stocked with whatever is needed to craft whatever it is that they're crafting. And that's going to be pulling from ender chest back here. Let's turn you this direction. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to, instead of using my redstone pack here like I've been using, I'm probably going to swap this out for an ender chest. That way I can keep it stocked at all times with everything I need. Because that's going to be pulling directly from base. I think that'll work. Now, I don't really like that this side has a space, but this one does not. So I'll probably bump this out a little bit more so I can have it at least be symmetrical that way. But I think that is the plan, pretty much just like that. Conveyor belt in the front, going to hopper here. Or ender chest returning to base right there. I think that's the plan. So I moved it around just a little bit here, and that was because I was going through trying to figure out what I want crafted, and I actually want more than I had room for. So we need redstone torch here. I think I'll do comparators and repeaters here. Repeaters. And I'm just going to go around and figure out what I want. It turns out there's a lot. Like I said, chests, hoppers, those all add up. Dispensers, droppers, pretty much everything that I want in here. Pistons, oh, I hadn't even thought of those. So let me figure out if I have enough spaces now. Hopefully I do. We have redstone torches, comparators, repeaters, droppers, dispensers, chests, hoppers, observers, bookcases, redstone books to go in those bookcases, pistons, and sticky pistons. And I have room for 2 more here. And of course, if needed, I can go up a floor or down a floor, though I would like to keep this to just 1 level. And then the plan would be basically in the front of each of these, I'm just going to break it out now and place it down, is going to be a line of conveyors. And I think I'm just going to have that go just over here. Breaking it by hand because my pickaxe is too quick. So, like I said, it's going to break along here, lay out a track for where the conveyors are going to go. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what it's going to be on because it's not going to be visible anyway. I just want to have it laid out so I can see it when I'm placing it. And I think this will work here. And I'll just have in the middle will be an ender chest for them to go into, right there. And it's just gonna, everything's gonna be pulled from an ender chest right here. I think that'll work. So let's break you out and throw dirt back down. Patch up the rest of this hole. I think that'll work. It's not quite centered. I think the room is centered on 2 actually, looking at this. Which we can do. Is that fine? Is that gonna be weird? We're gonna leave it like this. It's gonna walk in, there's gonna be a chest in the middle, and chest right here. So that should be fine. You and you. Okay. That is the layout. Now we need to build, and we need to craft up a bunch of the crafters. And since I'm going to start using a whole lot of the copper brass stuff, alloy kiln from Immersive Engineering, which seems pretty simple, just 8 of these guys in a square, and that's about it. So let's figure out what it takes to actually make that. That is kiln. That is kiln bricks. You are made with just red sandstone or any sandstone? Apparently red sandstone. Oh, it says it accepts any sandstone, so we'll try that. And brick. Okay, so regular. Okay, that's not too bad. I've got plenty of that. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna assume this is probably a really slow thing to build or to craft. It's 2 per. So if I do half stack of each, should be good. And bricks, stack of you as well. Okay, let's see how many of these we get out of this, which should be plenty. There we go. 32 gets us, what is that? 8? 8 of these guys? Should be good. For now, temporary structure is temporary. I'm just going to put a bunch of them here. So it's near my base, which is in loaded chunks, because I think it's going to be slow, so might as well do a lot of them. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to make these, and I'll be right back once they're ready. And yes, I can math. 4. That's how many. F3G. Nope, not F2G. There we go. F3G. So, we got those. Let's grab our hammer, which is somewhere in here. Engineer's hammer. There we go. And craft them up. 4. And I'm assuming you need some sort of fuel recipes. We can now make Constantin fairly easily. Electrum, cool. More electrum. Bronze, which is copper and tin. So that's for embers. Copper and tin, copper, tin, copper, tin. Alchemical brass, which is copper and zinc, which I think I've got a decent amount of. Okay, so it can make quite a lot of things. Let's grab the materials and get these guys started. Okay, so this is a little awkward. I don't have any zinc whatsoever. Zinc is apparently not a thing. So zinc ingots are made from zinc nuggets, or smelting zinc rocky chunks, or zinc dust from Magneticraft. Which is cool, except that there's no recipe for that, no recipe for that one, except for the previous one that I don't have a recipe for. And same with you, zinc dust from crushing a zinc ingot, or getting mithril rocky chunks, which, same story, can't do anything with that, or can't make it. That is kind of difficult. In theory, Abyssal Craft, that is gonna get into tedious things. Can I make you from anything? Make you from anything? No. Okay. All that to say, that didn't work whatsoever, and is completely useless. So, I guess we're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is alchemy. I guess that's what you get for making your own pack and not actually check and make sure you have the ability to get everything. So that's fun. I'm going to have to check through the config, see if it's just that it's disabled or something. It seems like Magneticraft should have it. It's not in here, so it hasn't been filtered to here. I've got lots of nickel, but I don't have any zinc. And I've done enough mining that I should have gotten some on its own anyway, but like you can see in here, zinc is not actually listed as an ore, which is just annoying. Yeah, so I'll play around with configs probably between episodes, see if I can enable it. And at that point, it's going to be hoping that I'll get it through like an ore kit or something like that. No zinc in here either, I'm assuming. Yeah. Well, that's annoying, but on with the show, we will continue with, I guess, like I said, the old-fashioned way of alchemy. So I need to get, you are instrumentum and nothing's listed here. It should be instrumentum and I want to say iron. So let's check that. And you, one of you should probably be using copper. Ah, okay. Copper and instrumentum gets you alchemical brass. And luckily, it's actually working here to do this through alchemy. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10 of you as well. So flint goes in, copper goes in, quartz goes in to get the Terra. I'm trying to do this in even numbers. So we'll do 8 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can count. Just to finish up the rest of it. So doing it in evens, that way I always get the proper amount for a Terra crystal out at the end. So you go in, you go in, you go in. Alrighty, so half stack of alchemical brass, not too bad. Just lots of Terra crystals left over, which of course I can always use for arcane stone. And I believe the number of these guys that I needed was 14. So it's going to be 28 of the simple arcane mechanisms, which is 2 of these each, which means I probably don't actually have enough alchemical brass for this. But we shall see. So that gets me 15, which is actually 15. Wait, no, that's, yeah, 15. That should work. Oh, wait, no, because I need double that because there's 2 per. Okay, so whatever. We're going to make a whole bunch of the simple arcane mechanisms, which is more iron plates and some sticks. So let's go grab our iron and our sticks. Let's grab a stack of you and a bunch of you, which, okay, so we're down to 12 blocks of iron left, so we should be worrying about that soon as well. Let's make you, I need at least even. What was that noise? Oh, that was this guy. Okay. That's fine, we'll ignore it. So you plus you, go here and here, and get us a whole bunch of, line them up properly. There we go. Whole bunch of simple arcane mechanisms. Cool. I think I've finally got everything I need. So I made a workbench charger as well because I kept running low. But we have 14 of everything. And sweet, that was enough. Cool. We have 14 arcane pattern crafters. So part 1 is complete. Next up, let's grab a bunch of conveyor belts. That hopefully is enough, but probably not. And I've got hoppers on me. Only 11, but that's okay. Guess that's probably about it. Chests. We need chests. And I think I've got a few up here. Okay. I think we're ready to go. So let's go over to our new building here, which is still work in progress, of course. And so what I did was I have dark oak chests next to the regular oak chests. That will let it be so that they're independent. I thought about having them be combined, but not really sure how the arcane pattern crafters will behave with that. So it's sort of a thing where I know this will work, and it'll be a little bit easier. It'll be a bit more expensive because I'll have to have independent sorting methods to get to those, but I think that's probably okay. So I guess we'll just take out this one, redstone torch. So you need to go here, and that's kind of cool, I guess. Break you. Now I should probably have read how this works. Okay. So similar to the crafty crate, there is the various pattern changes that you can make, and it looks like just shift clicking that changes it. Redstone into the bottom, or redstone into it will, that's it, it's just that, okay. That way. Clicking there doesn't do anything. Clicking in the middle doesn't do anything either. Okay, so this might work. Is there a way you can toggle what's what? Let me play around a little bit. So this one being redstone torches, let's go ahead and try it just like that. So I set it to be 2 items, and let's take a little bit of redstone and some sticks. Do I have any wood on me? Nope. Do I have a tree I can remove? No. Okay. So let's go get some sticks from back at base here. I threw them all back into storage anyway. So I think this one's going to be an interesting one. This one should work. I think it's going to be a little bit more complicated when I get to the actual, I guess, more difficult things, such as hoppers, droppers, that sort of thing. Okay, so if I throw sticks and redstone in here, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In theory, this will probably need a output, so we'll put a hopper down here. And that's actually going to go this direction. So our hopper goes there. Now in theory, that should just start outputting redstone torches. Unless I wonder if I have to place the items here. No, you have sticks, you have redstone. Start crafting. I did not want that, but apparently now I have a bunch of things I don't need. This might be a little more difficult than I thought. So it doesn't seem to want to be able to craft something like this. Now, judging from the items that it did make, it should be fairly trivial to set it up for things like oak chests. Hoppers probably won't work. Furnaces it would be able to do fairly easily, I think. I'm not sure if it would be able to do something like a dropper or dispenser though. So that is a little annoying. I kind of thought it'd like take a little bit to process through, figure out what all it can make with combination, and figure out that hey, this is probably a redstone torch. That's not the case. In the meantime, I've got a whole bunch of these things which are apparently not going to be working for what I want. Let me rethink this a little bit. So I have done a little bit of research and found out, yeah, these are not going to work. Basically, in Thaumcraft 5, which is the one that is in, I think, 1.8.9, it spelled it out a little bit clearer, but basically this will only work for recipes that use a single item, which is why, of course, it would turn the 2x2 of sticks into crops, the 3x3 of redstone into blocks. Yeah, it'll only grab a single item, which is not going to work. In fact, about the only thing that that would be useful for, it's cheaper to use crafty crates, because those, A, don't cost V from the aura. They are also basically just wood. It's wood and dream wood. That's pretty much it. So yeah, that's not going to work. And unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to figure out a different method. Now, of course, I can do crafty crates like I was planning, or like I did in the last season. That's going to be a tall structure then, or it'd go underground, kind of like I had before. I guess I could do the long way as well, is an option. Yeah, so gonna have to do complete redesign. That's not gonna work for this. I guess I can go back to the drawing board and figure out what other options I have. So, crafting options. Craft crate is what it is. Arcane pattern crafter, we're gonna hit no. IE assembler, those are useful-ish, and ancient warfare auto crafting. So the problem with immersive engineering assemblers is, well, I guess the good thing and the bad thing. The good thing is one assembler can do multiple recipes, which is pretty cool. The bad thing is it's difficult, I think, to toggle individual recipes in it, because it basically, if it has the ingredients to craft something, it's going to go. But the problem with that is a lot of these are going to be using the same items. I guess, well, like droppers and dispensers, I can't have those together, because if I have the items to create a dispenser, it's going to also have enough to make the dropper. The difference is just the bow. So yes, I could cut off the bow supply, and that will prevent the dispensers from being able to craft, but droppers will still keep going. Similar with comparators and repeaters, although I guess comparators use a quartz, and repeaters need a redstone dust. So those actually could craft together. I just need to keep the supply of smooth stone in there and the redstone torches. They also take up more room. And it'll also then take up a lot more room for the logic to keep everything stocked. I think it's a... let's pull it up, actually. So if we take this, let's go to Engineer's Manual. We want our... Or am I not in here? Simple machines. We want the assembler. This is a 3x3 area? So it's 3x3, and it can do 3 crafting grids. 18 slots below for the inventory for materials. Yeah, I mean, I can look into this. Again, this is gonna need steel, and I don't have a blast furnace yet. Features fluid input, fill the 3 internal tanks. What would be amazing would be if it could do color-coded redstone. So Immersive Engineering has the color-coded redstone what are they, connectors, whatever. It'd be nice if I could say red is assembler 1, green is 2, and orange is 3 or whatever. But as is, I can't control it that way, so I'd have to control it by supplying the materials, which is going to be a little annoying. So let's pop into a creative world. Let's go ahead and grab our engineer's hammer. You are right here. And I think I've got it all built up here, so right click, that didn't do anything. Shift click, nope. Let me check and make sure I have the thing set up properly. I think I do. Let me build this. Alrighty, so, yep, I can read. Conveyor goes here and here, not on top of the redstone engineering blocks. That can go there. Let's build these guys. Slabs go on top, not there. You, and regular blocks in the middle. And here we go. So right click U. There we go. We have ourselves an assembler. So if we right click this, we can see we have the 3 different slots. We have storage space down here, and fluids and all that, and it requires power. So the thing is, I only have 1 input for items. So let's just place some steel scaffolds here with some conveyor belts. You, and you. Now, one thing that would be really nice is if it had 2 inputs. If it had 2 inputs, then I can just say, hey, keep stocked with a stack of stone, stack of redstone, torches, and that's it. Then that would be the only thing I have to control would be the number of items coming in for the, we'll call them unique items. So for instance, for a comparator, quartz, and for a repeater, the redstone dust. But I only have the 1 input. So that means I pretty much always have to be sending in stone. It seems like the logistics on this is a little annoying. So here's a test that we can do. Let's take a chest, and on top of that chest, we are going to put a Master Corporeal Spark. Right there. Right there. Now this guy here, we're going to place a regular Corporeal Spark. which may or may not have done anything. Hard to tell because it is creative, so didn't actually use one up. In theory, if I take a wand of the forest, so forest, let's grab one of these guys and let's see if it actually linked. You did not. How about we place one here just to be sure, because that may be too far away. So you, perhaps place it here? No? So I don't know if that's going to work, but let's give it a shot anyway. So if we take our corporeal crystal cube, we'll just place you right here. We'll place a spark on top of that, and we're going to set you for iron sheet metal. Now if I look in here and we place an iron sheet metal block in there, you do not say 1. Okay, so that mostly answers that question. Let's check and make sure that this is all. So you are linked to there and there. Is there anywhere that will take a corporeal spark? No. No. What about the sides? Front? Anything? Nothing is allowing it to read that there's an iron sheet metal. Okay, so much for that idea. Well, we are back in survival here, and I gotta say, I'm gonna have to revisit this and figure out how exactly I want to do this. I can always do what I did last season, which is just the stack of droppers on top of a crafty crate, or even a row of droppers into hoppers. I mean, crafty crates, basically. That's one option. I can always take a look at the assemblers here, but I'll need to figure out how I want to actually set up the automation to make sure that I don't just start filling them up with like smooth stone, and it's not going to let me create any more, let's say, repeaters, because we have too much smooth stone, we can't get any redstone in there. So we're going to take a look at that later. In the meantime, I did add a new mod kind of over the weekend here, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Basically, it's not going to solve any of my problems right now, but it's kind of cool and I want to keep up to date with it. It is Arcane Archives, and it's kind of interesting. It's a storage mod. It is very, very, very early, very whip. There's not a whole lot implemented at the moment, mostly just basic storage items and the crafting materials in order to get those basic storage items. There's these which are radiant troves, which are basically a barrel. By default they hold 64 stacks, but they can be upgraded. I want to say to 640 stacks. There's also radiant chests, which I have one inside here, which is currently storing just these V crystals. Right now, nothing special, it's basically just a double chest. It does let me look at the items. Do I have that on me? Here we go. Mouse is kind of sticking there. The manifest lets me look and see what all is actually in there. So if I type in crystal, here's all my V crystals, which is kind of cool. And you can also see I have it set for my main storage as well, which is kind of cool. It just lets me monitor what all is everywhere. I can't do any automation with this yet. It's basically just beginner storage and looking at seeing what you have. So small little automation here for getting the crystals, create everything, and I will go into that further in a different episode. Mostly I just wanted to see what the mod was about and kind of what all I wanted to keep on top of it, really. I just wanted to keep it in the pack. That way if it updates, I can always update it. And I can kind of keep up, see when they add things. The plan is that there'll be a whole network-based storage thing, as well as automation and autocrafting and all that good stuff. At the moment, it's basically just kind of for looks and some basic storage. I'm probably not going to be using these, just because I already got the drawers set up, so I won't really need that. But, like I said, this here is just an automation, which is just going to get me the materials I need, because this does take time. That's really the main thing. Progresses, creates a crystal. This one's at 90%. Basically just creates a crystal, block breaker here breaks it, puts it in the chest, stores it up for me because you need a lot of these. And you can only do 3 of these resonators. So basically just gonna be in the background. Just wanted to point it out for if you see it in the background any shots, it's just sitting over here working away, getting me materials for when I can eventually do something cool with this. There's some cool stuff already, but yeah, we'll build more things with it. And unfortunately, we're gonna, I think, cut it here for an episode. Didn't get as much done as I'd wanted to get done, mostly because my autocrafting setup didn't work. But, you know, it's kind of always a work in progress. I did want to show more of kind of my thought process as I go through things and actually start building things. What all actually goes on behind the scenes. So it's kind of more of a more drawn out episode in that way. You can see I also have some blast furnaces here. I want to get into a bit of steel making for immersive engineering, and I think we'll work on that in the next episode. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye bye. One quick side note before I leave, I did just find this out. With the manifest, which lets you look at the items that you have, if you are near a corporea index, you can go in here, and because of the integration with JEI here, if I hit C over an item, for instance the arrow there, it will say in chat, which will let my corporea index request it. So I can also hit Shift C to request, say, a stack of aluminum nuggets, come straight into inventory, which is really awesome and is pretty much going to revolutionize how I use the system.